mortals, capable of mistakes. The journey's not here to be agonized.
Suppose. Welcome back, mere mortalites, to a wonderful edition of the monthly goals. It is a chance for us to have a bit of a conversation around what's been happening monthly from a perspective of goals or things that we're trying to achieve. We normally look back at the month that was, also the month to come. You've got Juan here on this side.
And Kyrin here on the other side.
So we're going
to... We're recording live on the 2nd of February,
Correct.
Sunday, 8:45. A little bit delayed, my apologies. But we're here as usual, and the goals will be for what happened in January, what's coming up in February, and fitness. So
Correct.
Juan, you like to start? Give me a January recap.
January goals. So just to give you a bit of a recap, folks, I had 7 goals listed out. I didn't get 2 of them done, so let me just focus on those particular 2. One was the 2 kilo drop in body weight, starting point of the month of 90 kilos. Now, it was going to be an average view to this particular goal in any case. Like I wasn't going to say, like I'm not setting it as done if I hit 88 kilos one day and I'll be like, yeah, I did it. No, I got down. I think I mentioned like 89. I did get to 88.7 something on one particular day, which again, it's not even 2 kilos. However, this is even the funniest thing. I think I was averaging for a couple of days. It was at 89.1 or something like that. That would be like the average. And then I checked yesterday my weight to be like, okay, well, it's 1st of February. Let's see what it was. And I was 90. So I was like,
oh, geez.
Jesus, there was nothing.
good.
There was like no change there. So again, look, it deviates back and forth depending on the day. I did have some travel with, it's like really terrible eating, but then not enough eating. So again, you'll see how it kind of, I've shifted the plan into the next monthly goals. So it's still very much the aim in an annual basis, but let's say the focus of it is different. But still, ultimately what I want to achieve is the same, but you'll see what I mean. The other one though that I'll mark myself down as no was the booking all the flights for wedding and honeymoon. So wedding is all booked. For the honeymoon aspect, not even close. There was just a whole host of other adjacent things that we needed to sort out, which after having conversations is more priority just in terms of, hey, you need someone to go and custom make this or tailor that or get things ready. Okay, that we kind of have to sort out first. Before the flights, we still have some wiggle room on that plus the bookings. Mm-hmm. But again, it's going to show up again in the next month as well.
He's leaving his options open so he can come join me in Italy.
That's exactly. Yeah. Maybe I'll make a surprise Hosky appearance at the prior to or something like that.
Well, that's before.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Maybe I'll have to go. Well, true. I've already booked the flights. Damn, it's a pre-wedding. I don't even know what to call it. The other ones though, which was all around sleeping. I did improve. Look, every day was pretty well, even though there was still short amount of sleep. The efficiency or the effectiveness that I tried to get out of it was the best I could. The running challenge, I think I hit, let's say, probably 13 of the 15 runs I wanted to do over the month, which I was like, or maybe even more. So I was really happy with that. And the 2 GPT agents created, in fact, one of them was for the Mere Mortals and podcast, and I love it. I've been using it religiously now for a lot of my things. So just to give you a quick idea for people listening at home, what I had done was in the past, I had created heaps of prompts for various things I wanted to do. So I had a Word document. I had multiple Word documents where I was like, oh, if I want to do this, copy this prompt, cool, use it, whatnot. And I didn't really only click until recently. I was like, oh, why don't I just create a GPT agent that has all of those things all at once, but then it's also feeding into everything that I'm creating or we're creating from a podcast perspective to learn like the way we sound and the way we create things and whatnot. So anyways, been using that, and it's been still a little tweak it every now and again, but it's been really good. And again, this is for back-end descriptions, that sort of thing, but it's become very quick to implement. Nowadays, all I have to do is literally upload a transcript and give it like a one line of what the episode was, and it gives me every single thing that you probably see the rest get generated. So descriptions, timelines, not the images, but also if I want to do like a blog, where I clip it, where I want to create the reels from, all that sort of stuff. So it's been really good. I really enjoyed doing that. There was another business one as well that we did as well. The applying the monthly plan for the Mere Mortals content creation, that went really good. That was really solid. I really enjoyed doing that. I found myself, I think over the month of January, ended up creating way more things than I had in the past. And I also got to see where I had to kind of push on things or move things around. That did help out a lot. I will do it in February with a different intent, I guess, let's just say. So those are, I guess, like the summary of January. There was a lot going on in January. It felt like it went
January was
pretty damn
busy,
quick,
man.
Yeah, there was a lot on.
Everyone I talked to, usually the general consensus is December is hectic. January's still busy, but it's not like compared to December.
No, mine's the opposite.
Yeah, January was just heckers for me as well.
December felt like it was quiet compared to January.
Yeah. So this reflects kind of my goals as well. So I'd say I probably did like 60%. I have 8. I'm actually just going to talk about the ones that I did do.
Okay.
Because the ones that I didn't do, a lot of them are transferring over to the next month.
Okay, yep.
So reread, implement day bang, old journal, did a book review on that, more gym openers, utilize cute dog bee. Actually did do that, was going out a little bit more. That was pretty fun. I had quite enjoyed doing all of that. It was good. I think I saw some minor results from that as well, which was good. Prepare the house for an Aussie Day barbecue. I did. That was probably what took up most of my January. The backyard was a wreck, and the patio, everything. So I spent a lot of time on that. And yeah, so
it was usable. The more like time, it was usable. We were able to run around.
Yeah. And so one of the things that happened from that was I probably overbought food. There was just a lot of extra food around. And so I've been smashing it all out, and like a lot of it's bread and meat and just heavy stuff. And it's going to go out of date unless I eat it relatively quick. So this week I was eating a lot of it. I touched on 80 kilos. So if one's going down, I'm going up.
We're going to meet in the middle.
That's not true. I'm going to stay around my high 70s as usual. So I did the podcast episode of the crypto things. I didn't create the checklist. I did my annual checkup, but I didn't go out and do the one-arm handstand day at the park and record a video and stuff. I didn't do any of the Hosky things. I did do all the translation. I've finished up with Portuguese for now. Okay. There's no more, I think, learning going to be happening on my part. I've read the books that I wanted. It's getting into German time. I was thinking maybe like, is there anything I can do with Spanish? I don't want to talk with my brother's girlfriend who's Colombian in Spanish, because it's just going to be the same problem that I had with you, which is speed. She speaks better English than my Spanish, right? And it's better to just default to if it's someone that you see every day and you don't want to have like annoying conversations with. Yeah, so I'm not going to do that. I did initiate some DNMs. I have been putting off, so that was good, but I still missed one or two. And I did create the Morpheus podcast, so I'm happy enough with what I did this month. Yeah.
Morpheus podcast, have we gotten any feedback?
No.
Feedback from anybody?
I've started reaching out to some of the people actually in their Discord to say like, hey, do you mind actually watching this? Give me some feedback. So I think it's also, it's just the first episode, so people could be like, is this guy going to stay around? So maybe didn't even see it, anything. So
what was the thing? I think it usually takes like 6 episodes or something like that. It's something about, I know it's 6 episodes for the actual algorithms of Apple and Spotify to actually give a damn about what you're releasing. So similar with the stuff that we're doing now. So there's probably some human aspect of it as well, that if you see like 1 or 2, it's like, okay. But if you start seeing a few more, it's like, okay, they're probably putting in some sort of effort, or there's enough meat in here that I can go and check out. So
I don't ascribe to the probably best practice of drumming up a whole bunch of hype before the podcast, before releasing.
Yeah, neither of us are like that, to be honest. Look, we do a disservice to ourselves in not doing this with the podcasts. If you're listening at home, there is a big part about hyping things. If we're selling, like especially products nowadays, or at least what I've seen, I've had a couple of these people on the show, but people who sell hats and apparel, a few different things, the initial like hype up and then getting people to come in and jump in and buy something, like that's huge. It's a big part of it. Now we're not selling anything, but there is a part of us trying to get you to watch and then support us by us supporting you with some value. And look, I guess we could be doing better than that. We just don't optimize for that. And that's okay.
Yeah, that's cool. It didn't faze me one way or the other.
Quick touch up on the support side of things. What have you been seeing from the value kind of model?
Yeah. So I've I'm still lagging behind on 1 or 2 episodes of the podcasting 2.0. In terms of, I found out recently. This is why I actually really enjoy just serendipity that you can kind of get with podcasts. So I was just going to James Cridland's and Sam Sethi's, both of them been on the show before. Their Pod News podcast, and the sum up episode that they do, Pod News Weekly, I think it's called. And I look, a lot of it's just like industry podcasting news. There was a time where I was more interested in that. I'm not as much now, but I still will go and listen to like the final part of their episode where they'll talk about themselves a little bit, tech, weekly, etc. And yeah, I found out there's basically a podcasting 2.0 event hosted by Sam in London in May.
No way.
Right before basically I'm going to go there. So I was just like,
Shift the plans
maybe,
a little bit earlier.
yeah, but I was thinking I'll fly into Germany. I was just looking up flights. It's actually cheaper to fly into London. Correct. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I should just do that.
You heard it here first, folks. Kyrin's going to be in London in May. So,
yeah. So they're still doing lots of things. Sam Sethi himself is moving away from Boostergrams, that name, to just super comments or something like that on True Fans.
Okay.
Which is
kind of the YouTube styling of it.
Yeah, and he's always been more of a aiming for the broad appeal rather than just the niche. Like he wants True Fans for everyone, essentially. And I have set up all of our new podcasts just with Boostergram support. So if anyone wants to, they can. But I don't imagine you'll be pushing it on Mere Mortals of Motion. I probably won't be talking about it much on Morpheus, other than just like a side little thing they can.
I wonder, and this is just a little drop and then we can move on, like a little note. I wonder if psychologically or if just by the mechanisms that are becoming available, people are opting in to own more crypto, but in the way of using it via ETFs. And so because they're doing that, then they're not having it available to be able to send back and forth in a P2P way for support. Yeah. I wonder. I had a conversation with someone on the flight back from Canberra, which kind of made me be like, they're more interested in crypto, but not in the way that they themselves own it in that way to be able to P2P send it to one another. So I was like, okay, it's kind of interesting. So it's like
feeding the point of it, but
it's like there's more people owning, I guess, in that theoretical way.
Well, but they don't own it.
Yeah. Well, if you there are ways. Look out for your correct ETFs out there.
But no, I'm actually kind of excited with the Morpheus one to run the value for value model and not really be talking about the Boostergrams and see what I can do in terms of other methods of support and in contributions, because it's another open source community, and so they'll be, I think, be more amenable to the message that I'm trying to give, rather than to like a general lay public. If it was just a general,
more specific, it is very much more specific. Okay, good stuff.
But yeah, everyone who's supporting the show over this last month, very much appreciated. For us, helps keeps the lights on. These lights right here, this one and this one.
You can't see them, but there's lights there.
There's lights. You better believe there's lights, and it is very much appreciated. So keep that up. Thank you very much.
Correct. All right, let's talk about February 2025 goals.
What you got?
I have 5.
Ooh, so I did notice there was.
Yep, I pulled it back. In fact, I had 4, and then I added one more that I sent across. Now, 5. Look, you heard from the previous month. I got 5 done out of 7. I can already see. So, what I'm going to be talking about here for these particular goals, there's all these other things I need to get done this particular month that don't fit underneath a goal because I don't map to an annual goal, or they're previous things I already have scheduled. There's a lot of things going on in February that either just not here or can't talk about it just yet. So that's probably why a reduction. I'm like, yep, I know full well I need to just pull back on some of these, but those 5 are 2 on my space of body, 2 in the mind, 1 in soul. Body, I'm going to focus so this is the weight thing. I'm going to focus my food intake principally around when I'm training. So more protein, less carbs. So this is one of the things, I guess, this is what I would want to do to achieve that 2 kg drop that I was aiming for in January. what I'm putting my goal more so here is, look, just really focus. But for me, I train in the mornings and I'm not eating until way later on in the day. What I'm finding doing that is overall, while the calories might be the right ones that I'm doing, I'm finding myself not hungry, but I'm not feeding myself correctly in the mornings. Then I delay it. It's not making me feel like great in the afternoons, eating or attempting to eat all that food. Because then at that point, I can only eat so much now. And back in the day, I might be able to like eat a ton load of food straight away. Now, if I have a big bowl of pasta, let's just say, I'm like, oh man, I'm full. I'm not going to have another bowl of pasta, even though it's what I could probably eat or need to eat for the calories that I need. So bring them earlier.
What are you planning on dropping? Do you have much fat to drop, or are you just going to have to drop, I don't know, muscle?
No, there's definitely going to be some fat to drop for sure. But I think some of it is going to...
What are you aiming for? Like 8 kilos reduction from 90?
Yeah, 8 kilos. Some of it might be a little bit of muscle.
I think it's going to have to be
some of it's going to be a little bit of muscle, to be honest with you.
I don't know if you have that much fat to drop.
I don't know if it'll be. Good aim. But I guess this, for me, I'm like, okay, let me change tack. Let me just focus my intake of food specifically around where I need it, like specific food intake, more in the morning where I've just not been doing that. I've just been skipping the breakfast. So more priority in that, and definitely not carnivore, but going much more heavy towards that. Because what I found, especially when I was traveling last week, is like, oh man, those days I was just like having carbs and pizza or whatever, and there was just a lot of protein missing. And for me, the easiest one is just meat, get it in that way. There's other ways, but for me, I prefer that. So anyways, that's one. Second one, this is mapped to the running. So embracing the longer running on the weekends. So don't stress about what gets missed. And I say don't stress about what gets missed because part of my mentality still, hey, I want to go and do a 10-kilometer run and also do some arm workout or do a little bit of back or do some of this, where it's now starting to become, hey, I've got about, I think it's 13 weeks till the half marathon. I go, okay, if I want to put like a good effort, not just do it, but do it in a good effort.
What are you aiming for? Like
sub two. But if I was like, okay,
sub 2 hours.
Sub 2 hours. I'm like, if I'm going to put effort to do it, don't just do it and complete it. Do it and put in some good effort towards it and actually do it. So that's more for myself as a reminder of, look, there's going to be long runs this month, but also don't worry about what gets missed from a training perspective. Just be completely aware of that. I'm telling myself up front, I'm going to miss some of my lifting. That's okay. The 2 aspects on the mind. Now, this one's a big one, which is why I just listed it as own, and I didn't like note the other stuff. Aim for 3 book reviews this month. Three book reviews. So I'm almost done 48 Laws of Power. Still going. Man, that book is heavy. I've stopped reading. I don't know if the book when you read 48 Laws of Power or if you ever read it.
The little thing on the side.
Yeah, I just stopped reading those things. Like, okay. I was just like,
oh man.
Which was interesting because
I enjoyed that more.
I'll talk about it, I guess, when I'm doing the podcast. But like with those side pieces, like it's basically you've got the normal text and then you've got text on the edges of the book as well.
Yeah, and the edges, if I recall correctly, those were the actual examples of people doing it, right?
No, not examples, but it was it was like fables, the quotes, the stories, which I'm assuming is the reference points that he was leveraging to create the text.
Okay, that
was bringing through. So in a lot of them, he seemed to relate a lot of the work to a lot of the kings and queens of 1500, 1600, 1700, 1800s, a lot of French stuff. And so there was a lot of descriptive things like stories or famous quotes or famous quips from around that era. One aspect though that I found is there's a lot of the fables from which you've done a book review not too long ago. Fables. And I was like, fuck, this is shit. I was just like, I don't want to read. Like I think I read them I would have read like 12 of them. And after that, I was just like, I don't want to read another one of these. I'm just going to skip these things. I'm not reading them at all. I'm finding this more and more, I know there's a side piece, but I'm finding this more and more that while I understand that that's kind of like the root where a lot of the ideas which Robert Greene and a lot of other people create books from, I enjoy absorbing it by an already analyzed version of what they are, as opposed to reading that.
Yeah, that's why you like Ryan Holiday.
Yeah. Honestly, like I was in reading some, I was like, I get this, but I prefer to read it and consume it in someone who's already analyzed and maybe broken it down into a few other stories of practical life. That's just me. So anyways, 3 book reviews. We'll see how we go. And then the other one for the mind is just planning out the February content to pursue the fitness brand as well. So I haven't done that yet, so which I really want to do. And literally, that is the only way. If I don't plan it, again, like I talked about in January, if I don't plan for it, there's no way I'm going to do the 3 book reviews. There's no way I'm going to do any more fitness stuff because I will just let other life come into play and not do it. So it really worked really well in January. I'm going to do it again in February so I can just plan that out and go forward. And the last one, I wrote this down. This is a must on February, folks, so you can hold me to it. I've got to book all the flights.
All of them?
All of them.
Oh, come
and
on,
purchase clothes for the wedding. All of them. All of them are going to be done on February. There is no...
You don't need to do
not going to get that. Well, I do. There's a certain other reason I can't talk about on here, but all my spending has to be done in February. All my spending has to be completed by February. So I'm going to maximize my spending.
Taxman's coming up.
It has to be done in February. I wish it was just Taxman. But yes, and purchase clothes as well for the wedding as well. So that's going to happen absolutely in February. So pulling back a little bit on all the overall goals. I'm not listing there things about other self-improvement things. There was a few other type of annual goals. I'm like, nah, you need to pull them away. There's some key focuses in February they've got to get done.
Sure.
So,
okay.
That's February for me.
Sounds like it will still be a busy month.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be delicious. Nice. I didn't list this. Because I was like, I can't do it. But yesterday, which is technically 1st of February, correct?
Yes,
1st of February. I did my turf games competition as well. I'll talk about that separately in the fitness space. But I was going to write it down, be like, do it. What's the point? I just didn't. So anyways, that was good fun. I'll talk about it in the fitness podcast that's to come. Yeah,
I know what you mean. All right, I've got my 8 here. Some of these are going to be very reminiscent of last month. So number 1, keep the searching mindset despite travel plans. This is what I've noticed last year was when I was...
The searching mindset.
So in particular, like keeping my eyes open, opportunities peeled for meeting a lady.
Oh, right, okay.
Despite already doing things where it's like, I'm not going to be here in 3 months, 4 months time. You know, it's going to throw a wrench in the works. So I want to keep an open mindset despite doing some other things which are somewhat contradictory.
Cool.
Organize other Q1 events. So these things related to like my birthday, traveling. Had a chat with Joey, Mr. Broadshoulders last night. Was trying to organize to go down and see him. That fell through pretty quickly.
How's he going?
Yeah, he's good, man. He's good.
Wait, why did it fall through?
Oh, just because of when basically I'm going to do like a family thing with my dad and my brother, and we're going to see his side of the family. Yep. And I was going to try and organize something either before or after that. Yeah, it doesn't really work out with Joey's plans. The physical checklist of crypto speculation systems. So I want to actually write this out, print this off or something like that. Have something so that I can tick it off. I think it'd be kind of fun. Because I saw one the other day where it was people who I would consider financial professionals, although like a financial professional in the TradFi world, and they were talking about ETFs and things like this, and it got onto crypto, and one of them, like half jokingly, half seriously said Doge was a blue chip meme, and I was like, that's one of the symptoms, like tick it off. I'd love to have ticked that off right in that moment, so want to do that. Really want to... What's that?
Blue chip meme. I don't think you can...
You never heard that before?
No. I don't think you can attribute blue chip to memes.
You can't say that. That's ridiculous. Record and analyze a one-arm handstand day at the park, so definitely got to do this. Mm-hmm. And do a skin checkup. So I did all like my blood results, all those sorts of things, but I didn't get time to get a skin checkup done. So it's been quite a few years since I've done that. Okay. Worth doing for those at home as well. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have a chat with Hosky, the blueprint of the big brain bingo plan.
Yeah.
We'll see about that. I'm already starting to notice like that's going to be a lot of work. Okay. So it's more fun than if anything happens with that, that'll be funny. But probably not. Start travel planning. So this is going to be related to flights. I'll probably book 1 or 2, but maybe just the first one probably. Sure. I think I need to renew my passport, so I probably should get on top of that. Mm-hmm. And begin reading a German book. So just start trying to read one, see if I've got still any of level in there. I thinking that I probably don't have enough because the books that I've got are adult books and not children books. They're not as simple as The Alchemist, for example. So
it's easy to just jump into it and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't want to jump into it and be like,
Whoa.
every third word having to
that'd be hard.
do. So, that might alter, and I'll start listening to some German podcasts again, perhaps doing not Duolingo, but something similar. Bring back steeliness in places you're starting to slip. So there's related to character. So just a couple of things related to like health, sleeping, eating, even like fitness prep, just some stuff around the house. There's all sorts of things where I'm like, you're kind of slipping up there. Like you were doing better 2 months ago. Try and bring that back. And then the explore the Morpheus GitHub/Git book. I've been meaning to do that. Didn't get around to it. And we were talking about playlists recently. And I've got this massive playlist on YouTube, but it's kind of unfiltered. And some of these episodes go back years of just stuff.
Okay.
And which I enjoy having. I enjoy having something so that there's always something I can go to in those moments of weakness when you're like, there's nothing on. There's nothing here. Yeah,
I've never ever been
okay.
like,
You'd be in the minority.
I'm always I'll tell you what, I'm in a constant state where this is like serious, constant state I wouldn't say daily, weekly, where I'm like, holy crap, I've got 7 things I've got to like watch. I've got to go see, like I've got to go watch them all. And the next week, even if I watch them all, the next week I'd be like, oh my God, there's another like 5 I've got to like go and catch up on.
Okay.
So it's more that than the other end, I guess.
So that'd be very rare, because I think most people would be able to relate to going onto something like Netflix or YouTube and just
going down the rabbit hole.
There's recommended things in front of them, but none of them are appealing to them. And so they just scroll, just trying to find something that appeals to them for 5, 10, 15 minutes and not having anything then complaining. So.
Because I think I gotta like put out here my weirdness. I only started using playlists last week.
After I was berating him.
Because I found actually it was useful when I'm on the treadmill. If there's a couple of videos I want to watch, I can put it on the playlist and then they'll just autoplay, which is amazing. I don't have to pick it up and like change it. So that's one thing. I've never ever watched a recommended video. Like, when it's like finishes a video and it just goes to a recommended.
Really?
Or like there's a side hook. Never have I ever done that. But that one about like, never like something to come on. I'm always the opposite in a bad way still, where I'm like, oh my God, I've got to watch like this new one from Jordan Peterson, or there's this one from Tim Ferriss, and there's this other one from Alex Hormozi, and there's other one from Lily Hormozi. Like,
but how do you know which ones to watch if you don't have a playlist? Like, you mentally keep a track of all these things?
I'll mentally keep a track of all of the ones. So like I could tell you now, maybe of like 7 or 10 off the top of mind right now. And I'm like, I've got to watch those next. And then like these next ones come out, and I'm like, and it even gets to the point. I'm like, okay,
weird,
I have to watch this.
Sometimes they come weird.
No
way.
I think it was there's a few from Layla Hormozi or Jordan who I'll be like, oh, okay, if I watch them at 3 speed, I'll be able to finish both by this time, so I can watch those other 2 and the next thing, and then do it. So
that's messed up.
It's a completely other extreme of content consumption for me.
Oh man, I'm not weird. You influenced me to be weird. But the thing with that is I want to prioritize AI episodes again. So I was actually going through last night and bumping some of these to the top of the playlist. So they would. Are
you focusing on anything in particular? Are you generalizing the AI consumption? Are you going down a specific path?
Let's see, I can go onto it right now and I'll.
Like, is it like AI news? Is it AI on the like very specific tech? Is it functionality? Is it more robotics?
There's a couple of things that are at the top. So obviously Morpheus project updates, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this lady I found, what was her name? Kyrin, I think. NPC Day Denver, Decentralized AI. Jason Tang inside Virtual's Meteoric Rise, Gaming IP in the Age of AI. Something like Mark Andreessen on Lex Fridman. He's probably got some interesting insights. There was some ones further down here as well. It's like a mix of kind of newsy type things. I posted in the Discord yesterday a blog that I read, which I thought was kind of interesting. So the history of
Okay,
ChatGPT.
so it's a bit of a broader, it's like a bit of a broader like
it's a
view
bit of everything.
Okay.
Bit of everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I would recommend people, if you don't want to get like, if you don't mind going deep into a particular, I would recommend the Lex Friedman 7-hour podcast episode with the Claude team.
Yeah,
that one was really good.
I think I've got
really
that
good.
in here, but it's down the list. Maybe I'll bump it up.
But see, this is the problem with that, with these sort of things. That's why I was asking you. That one, I could see in a few months, will just kind of almost become almost irrelevant, apart from a historical capture.
Exactly.
Because of how fast things change. So, in any case.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's all of my goals. Let's jump on to fitness stuff.
Yeah, so I guess I
What are you
talked about it
thinking?
already. There's, I guess, two aspects for it right now. One is running, so already touched on the half marathon prep. So that's been going pretty well. I was able to just do most of the things I wanted to do in January. In February, those kilometers are going up. I guess the only thing that was a slight wrench was a random competition that I did yesterday out of nowhere that I wasn't really planning for. So besides that, there's nothing else now, I think, that's going to get in the way for the prep. So that's going well. Training-wise, like strength-wise, or just generally wise, I felt, let's just say, there hasn't been any new PRs or gains, but what has been gained is probably the increase in mobility in a reduction in soreness. That's been really good. So I've been training how I may have been training the last month, 2 months, 3 months, but let's take it back all the way to 6 months, 7 months ago. I was training and the next day I was really sore. Like I couldn't go and do a similar amount of work that I'd done. Yesterday, the workout that I did was 2+ hours long. Like it was quite a huge amount of effort to be done. Today, no soreness, like zero soreness. I could go, in fact, I'm planning to do a 10K run at some point once my daughter goes to sleep today. Totally fine. I'm like, good to go. Little wobbly in the knees, but apart from that, not muscularly wise. So for me, I think the big win is I'm keeping my strength and mobility as much as I need to, but with the added bonus now that my recovery has improved significantly. So I'm like, fuck yeah, that's really good. Because that I wasn't finding. I was having, and when you find that, it's like, it starts to be a bit of a drag because you're too sore or you don't want to do the lifts you want to do because you're, just trained a couple of days before. So for me, I'm like, oh yeah, this is really nice.
The good thing with you is you can combine things. So when you're running, for example, I remember you were telling me in the past that your biceps would hurt, and that's what stopped you from running. So you're essentially doing a bicep workout whilst running.
So very, very quickly in the competition yesterday, the work was, one of the workouts was 1.5 kilometers of running, 1.5 kilometers of rowing, and then finishing off with rowing. When I finished that, not only was I like super tired and wrecked from engine sort of work, my arms were pumped, like absolutely pumped, like my triceps and biceps. And if you actually look at the photos, because I just was looking at them before of the event, at the beginning of it, like I just look normal, like as I do not walking around. When I was finished, I was like pumped, like I had like done a bicep workout.
Gorilla mode.
Yeah, plus sweaty as all balls.
In one piece.
But yeah, it's all in one go. But no, training's feeling good. Training's feeling good. What about yours?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm very much in the mode now of 4 days a week of one-arm handstands. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And those are the days I can kind of lock in, get a really good warm-up, not need to rush. Like everything's just really optimized to a T for those days. And then Wednesdays and Saturdays, or today will be Sunday instead, we'll do like a leg workout of some sort, of usually like hip flexors or just straight up legs, calves, and hip thrusters, all that sort of good stuff. It feels like I'm doing all the stuff now that will show results in probably a year's time.
Okay.
It's extremely frustrating in one sense in that.
Is there any leading indicators that are telling you that?
Yeah,
it's going
look,
down the right path?
I'm getting, just some holds here and there where I'm floating. I'm definitely floating. It's not strong, really like locked in. Like sometimes I'll be in the position, I can feel my shoulder going out. I can kind of save it a bit by chucking my leg the other way. But if I look at that, if I take a video, and do that, I'll know, okay, this is not what the pros are doing. They're just staying locked in, the shoulders in the correct position, their shoulders, and that's how it's meant to be. It's like you want to make the adjustments from the lowest point possible. So it should be from your hand first, then into your elbow, then into your shoulder. And then if you're trying to make adjustments with your hips and legs,
Probably too far
like
gone.
you're fucked. It's you can save it, but it's not going to look pretty, and it's going to be extremely taxing. And so,
Okay, that's a good point.
it is extremely taxing, man. Towards the end of like the 2 hours of, so basically I do like 2 hours of handstands and then an hour or 40 minutes of supplementary chest, arms, obliques, whatever it is. After those 2 hours, I'll just be constantly squeezing my hands and stuff because my wrists are on fire and they really hurt.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, 2 hours of doing that.
So yeah, it's good. It's great. In fact, having a lot of fun doing it. Realized I was getting some neck pain in my right neck. Has been troubling me for a bit. And I've realized I can basically just do a left arm on that day, still basically do a full day's workout, just a bit extra on the left, and it'll give me like a day of healing, I guess, on the right. So
able to work through it.
yeah,
Not something that's like
exactly.
stopping.
Yeah. I'm feeling really good. Feeling really good.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe could get some points soon. I could probably do it nowish if I allowed myself to count like pretty sloppy form as for like doing a flag and touching the ground with my foot and coming back up. If I allowed like myself to shift to the side instead of staying rock solid and it all coming from the obliques, I could technically tick something off, but I'll allow like some poor form, but not
too
that
much bad form.
much
Yeah,
poor
okay.
form. Yeah.
It's gonna get there. Well, if you're getting close already with that, then
It's feeling
only a matter of
it's
time.
feeling good. I'm really happy with where I'm at. So yep, gonna do like a solid month. Probably take like a week off towards the end of March. So that'll be a solid 2 months maybe of training, and then
a bit of time off. There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
feeling good.
there's the lead into February, folks. That's been our monthly goals for January, how we went, and February, what's to come.
Yep.
Once again, if there's anything from you, me and Waterlines, that you want to share in terms of monthly goals, how you do it, how you map it up to the annual goals, anything else in between, feel free to call it out.
Yeah.
Is there any comments or anything
There
just
is.
to touch on?
So we do have a couple of people, Patricia, Cole, and Lucas in the chat. Lucas said, "Yo!" And Cole says, "Juan's February goals: continue living, continue thinking, and make a spreadsheet of every thought ever."
Absolutely. Yeah. My spreadsheet's
a good way to end.
a masterful, big, long thing.
Beautiful.
But it's been good.
Beautiful.
I think I've talked about it. I have talked about it before, but my spreadsheet, it's not that I reference it all the time for sure, but when I need to reference it, I have found it's been a dream. It's been like really, really good. In fact, there was 2 times now I've used it where one, there was a comment around like, oh, what happened last Christmas, not the Christmas gone by, but the one beforehand, and then something about my daughter in terms of, what was the first time she did something. And I was able to locate it really quickly and be able to bring it up really quickly in my mind just by reading a few lines. So I was like, cool, this is brilliant. This is really good.
Nice.
Anyways, we'll leave it there. Immortalized. Thank you very much for joining. For those who are doing so live, you can also do that on a monthly basis.
Stick around. We'll be doing some musings straight after this. So
Correct. Talking about some scams.
post a new link.
All right. Immortalized. Thank you very much. Be well wherever you are in the world. One out.
Kyrin out.
Good.
Bye.
Bye.